Hello, brothers and sisters. Father Frank Pavone here, National Director of Priests for Life. Welcome to another episode in our series of election videos, helping our fellow citizens and our fellow believers prepare for this year's elections. Sometimes people say there should not be a single issue that decides our vote. The reality is that many people are motivated precisely by single issues, to get politically active in the first place, or to campaign for particular candidates, or to give their lives and their talents to achieve some particular goal. For some people, it's ending poverty. For others, it's ending the death penalty. For some, it's promoting peace. For others, it's education. And still for others, it is pro-life, ending the colossal injustice of abortion. Sure, there are single issues. Now, being attached to a single issue, being motivated above all by a single issue, having your vocation and mission defined by a single issue, doesn't deny that there are other issues. I'm sure the people who work for the American Cancer Society are aware of and concerned about other issues than cancer, and for that matter, those who run Alcoholics Anonymous certainly are concerned about people who have never been alcoholics. The point is, however, that there are also disqualifying issues, and that's what I want to speak about today to help you to evaluate candidates for public office. When someone is asking you for your vote, you have to ask not only where are they on the issues, but does any position that they take disqualify them from public office? Now, we know in the United States of America that there are many citizens of other countries throughout the world who have fantastic ideas and great records of accomplishment on many different issues. But we have a qualification for running for public office in the United States, right? You've got to be a United States citizen. We're not going to say because somebody living in South Africa or in France or in any other nation who has a tremendous plan for education or for health care or for pro-life for that matter is going to be getting our vote. The fact that they're not a citizen is disqualifying them from getting our vote. But then one can take a position on an issue and because of that position be disqualified from getting our vote. Disqualified to the point that we don't even have to ask about any other issues. Years ago, in our educational material regarding elections, I wrote a brochure called You Wouldn't Even Ask. And here's what I said in that particular brochure. What if a candidate came along and said, I support terrorism. I think that the terrorists have a right to do what they do, and I support them. And I'm asking for your vote. What would you say? In fact, would any voter say, well, sir, I disagree with you on terrorism, but tell me about your health care plan. What's your education plan? Let me listen to what you think about the other issues. They might say all the right things about the other issues, but you can be sure that if they support terrorism, all the voters would consider that a disqualifying issue. An issue which is so inconsistent with the meaning of public service that you don't even have to go on to ask other questions. In fact, it would be offensive to go on and ask questions about the other issues, as if you were going to tolerate for one split second the position that says, I support terrorism. Now, is abortion in the same category? My friends, here is where we have to sit back and take a good, long, hard look. Well, actually, not that long, but an honest look about what abortion actually is. Just read the medical textbooks that describe how it's done. Medical textbooks that call it dismemberment, decapitation, Read the testimony that abortion doctors have given in courts throughout our land. Read, in fact, decisions of the Supreme Court that have described the abortion procedure, talking about how in dismemberment procedures, the arms and legs of a living child are literally torn off, how the skull is crushed and removed in fragments rather than as a unified piece. And we have candidates for public office, the Democrats in particular, who are literally saying this activity, it should not only be legal, it should be paid for by taxpayer dollars, and I support a woman's right to choose this abortion, which the medical textbooks describe as dismemberment and decapitation. What was the evil of September 11th? What is the evil of terrorism? Is it that buildings fall, lives are lost? After all, earthquakes and tsunamis cause buildings to fall and lives to be lost. Are we offended by those things in the same way that we are offended by the terrorist acts of September 11th, 2001 in the United States? Or is there another element that defines terrorism? There is another element. It's not only that buildings fall and lives are lost. It is that some people have a wanton disregard for the right to life of other people. There's the essence of what offends us, that people can plan to deliberately murder innocent people and then go ahead and do it. That's the evil. How is that evil different in abortion than it is in terrorism? We are not here condemning the mind and heart and soul of the woman who goes to get the abortion procedure. We work with such women every day. We know the distress, the confusion, the pressure that they are under. We know that it is despair, not freedom, that drives them to the door of the abortion facility. So this is not a judgment on them. This is a judgment on abortion itself. It is the deliberate taking, the deliberate destruction of a human life. Is there a difference when one is making a choice to deliberately destroy human life and it is the abortionist who is carrying out the procedure? Does it make a difference whether the instrument of death is surgical forceps or an airplane? Does it matter whether the victim is 5 feet tall or 5 inches tall? It does not make a moral difference. It is the deliberate destruction of an innocent, living human being. And so, brothers and sisters, I ask you, if someone came along and said, I support terrorism, and that would be a disqualifying position from even considering anything else they might say in asking for your vote, then isn't it also true to say someone who says, I support the right of people to tear a baby apart limb from limb, to crush that baby's head and remove the skull piece by piece, but I'm asking you for your vote, is that not also a disqualifying issue? Disqualifying, furthermore, from several different vantage points. Some people will say, well, if it's a Catholic politician, they are contradicting the Catholic faith, and that's true, and that should be pointed out to them. But they're also disqualified because they're contradicting the Christian faith. The Christian faith asks and demands that all Christians revere and respect and protect life, and in fact goes beyond that. This is a contradiction also of what it means to be a public servant. We need public servants who can tell the difference between serving the public and killing the public. If you're in a position of public service, you don't have a veto power over human rights. If you're in a position of public service, you're there to protect human rights. And this indeed is where support for abortion is a contradiction, not only to Catholic faith, not only to the Christian gospel, but to the very meaning of public service. This is why in 2009, when I was invited to the campus of Notre Dame University to hold an alternate commencement service for the students who did not want to honor President Obama, who was receiving an honorary law degree that day, I happily went and conducted that alternate ceremony. And we weren't accusing President Obama of contradicting the Catholic faith. He isn't even Catholic. What we were saying was that he was contradicting the meaning of the presidency, the meaning of public service, the very purpose of government in the protection of human life. And finally, the position that the candidate may take in favor of legal abortion, well, it contradicts basic humanity. It contradicts human decency. It contradicts a bedrock principle of civilization itself, that we protect the weak from the strong. You don't protect the strong who are attacking the weak. You protect the weak from the strong. The more dependent someone is, the more help you give them, not less. That's why it's so crazy that an argument that some make in favor of abortion is that the baby cannot live outside the womb. That's why the baby's in the womb. The fact that the baby can't live independently is not an argument to kill the baby. It's an argument to protect the baby and to keep the baby in the womb. Isn't it amazing how things are turned upside down so easily? Yes, there are disqualifying issues. A person who says that the law should allow a baby to be torn apart doesn't understand the purpose of law, doesn't understand the purpose of government, doesn't understand the nature of public service, is throwing out the window a basic principle of humanity, decency, conscience, virtue, and civilization, is contradicting the Christian gospel, and is denying the Catholic faith. That person does not even deserve consideration for your vote, much less your vote itself. Yes, there are disqualifying issues, and to be able to say so does not in any way take away the importance of other issues. In fact, what we're saying is that the respect for life is precisely the heart, soul, and foundation of all the other issues. Take it away, and you minimize every issue. Friends, I hope that this is helpful in you and others that you may talk to discerning how to evaluate candidates, parties, and their positions. For more of our election-related videos, go to electionvideos.org. And for our overall election information, go to prolifevote.com. I'm Father Frank Pavone of Priests for Life. God bless you.